a message to the Eagles, like we did during Nations Cup last year in South Africa. And the next campaign really is for Morocco, our opponents in the quarterfinals of the CHAN. We'll talk more about the CHAN later on the show, but for the feedback angle to it, the communication for Twitter, anytime you're talking to us, between now and when Morocco falls on Saturday, is hashtag Morocco must fall. Gentlemen, that's the next campaign. That's the next campaign. One game at a time. Morocco must go down.
Yeah, Tony, absolutely agree with you. This team started poorly, like we said here last week, against Mali. Sloppy performance, improved a little bit against Mozambique. Against South Africa. I mean, it was a good performance as far as I'm concerned. Particularly for some of the players that we tipped before this tournament. Ejike Uzoyi brought his grade A performance on that day, and I think the South Africans will be, thinking that they should have
still dreaming,
taken the man out because he was simply unbelievable. Then
couldn't be taken out. They wanted to take him out.
Bella Salami, I mean, it was a handful. After the red card, he brought Nigeria back because he made a move that
got the South African defender.
It was now 10 men to 10.
10-10.
The other assist he gave to Ejike also and the penalty. So I mean, the guys did well as far as I'm concerned. Even Obano, who was making his debut from Insurance of Benin,
National League
player, did well. I had, when I saw the team list before that, I was apprehensive. I said, what is Kashi doing? In a crucial
position like a left back.
Left back. This guy is going to be, going to be jittery. But he stood his own. I want to pay kudos to the team. But against Morocco, we must understand that it's a different ball game.
This is knockout.
The Moroccans are technical. They know how to play fast-paced game, counter-attacking football. But we have the edge of being physical, and that was what the South Africans said. That we
won all the
battles, and the second ball, which were very crucial, that was what led to the first goal. The area battle between the Nigerian and South African. The South African was flattened on the ground, and Ede had the ball, gave it to him,
and he waited for the return pass.
I mean, that was our edge. So we must watch out for this
play to our strength,
sleek moving Moroccans, and make sure that the defensive, the goalkeeping areas are tidied up.
If what we did against South Africa could be scored as A, we now need A+ against Morocco, and we have to keep building on that going forward, because when you are at this level of a competition, you don't want to look back. You just want to keep going. And let's talk about South Africa very quickly. Fikile Mbalula, I mean, took them apart. President Zuma came and did the opposite. Fikile Mbalula came out again and said he's not apologizing for what he said.
The man is absolutely livid. And I think
even when the president has come out, the head of the country, the number one South African, has come out to say, look, cut these guys some slack.
Well, it is a democracy.
Absolutely.
And there is freedom of expression is guaranteed.
You are allowed to go against the president.
Even in this country, well, you have to
go against the president.
At your own detriment.
But, freedom of speech. But there's a difference between freedom of speech
like our good friend
and freedom after the speech.
Like our good friend,
the late president of
freedom of speech is guaranteed.
Freedom after speech.
Freedom after speech is a totally different thing. But Fikile Mbalula is expressing his constitutional rights, and also as a minister in the South African cabinet.
The man in charge of sports.
He's in charge of sports. This is his area of specialty, his purview. He's allowed to make the decisions as they deem fit. And he's obviously in tandem and total agreement with Danny Jordan, the president of SAFA, about the tremendous amount of changes that they want to carry out in South African football. Changes that go as far as even changing the name of the national team. They even want to change the colors of the national team. This is drastic times for South African football, and if these men have their way, they said they have a meeting scheduled for early February. Well, they
want to change everything, including the technical crew, the support crew.
The Nicholson is leaving on borrowed time. You and I know that. Maybe, but how quickly they will let him go is a different thing, because the World Cup expires in June, and they have a World Cup. They have the Nations Cup qualifiers coming up very soon, so they have to quickly get someone new in place so that that person can take charge of the qualifiers. But Fikile Mbalula he's blasting everybody from the hip with a sort of shotgun. He's letting everybody know exactly how he feels. And I think he has a right to be aggrieved. because let's be candid, South Africa, apart from 1996 and what year was that, 1998, the following year when they got to the final of the Nations Cup, they haven't really lived up to their potential.
They should make do with rugby and cricket.
Well, if you say so, but football is the king of sports. And maybe on the heels of what Orlando Pirates did last year in the CAF Champions League, they felt they could have done better. But unfortunately, no Pirate player was in the CHAN team that could have brought the African experience to help Bafana. But let them worry about their problems. I'm sure they'll sort themselves out. But no matter what they do, they just come unstuck against Nigeria. And that reminds me, this weekend, our under-20 girls are playing against the South African under-20 girls in the race for the World Cup qualifier
in South Africa,
in Dobsonville again this weekend.
There's no race again.
6-0 from the first leg. Absolutely nothing to play for.
6-0.
But pride. If they don't want the minister to come out again on TV and call them useless, let them just get the results. But it's difficult against Nigeria. 6-0 from the first leg. And our girls usually score more away from home than they score at home. All right. So that's a huge challenge for the South Africans. All right. Let's go on a quick break now. When we return from the break, we will talk about FIFA and the 2014 World Cup. It's a change of the entire plans of national teams going to the World Cup.
Yeah, I think the Nigerian officials should be watching closely and get proactive, because as you have said here, things could be changed. So they should also start planning. Plan B. In case this happens, this is what we're going to do. Because obviously this the program, they are behind schedule. We've been saying it here, but Blatter kept on saying that they will meet deadline. But everybody knew it was inevitable that these people are not going to meet the deadline. You know, they had a lot of issues during the Confederations Cup. The people of Brazil were rioting. They were demonstrating.
Apart from that, Brazilians naturally, according to some of the people who live there, have this laid-back, very lax attitude to projects. So it has just spilled over into the World Cup and has affected it seriously.
Absolutely.
Curitiba under danger of hosting, missing out of hosting games at the 2014 FIFA World Cup Brazil, and that surely will be very huge for Nigeria. And as you said, I think the Nigerian Football Federation need to really put their eyes on the ground, put their ears to the ground, put whatever they have, monitor closely what is going on, because we need to be smart, to be quick, and have plan B in case this just doesn't work out. And for me, it's really worrisome if this is not ready, and other venues also are not ready. It's going to really throw the World Cup into some kind of confusion. All right, let's talk about the Eagles very quickly. Ike Uche says he knows that he needs to do more than score goals in the Spanish La Liga to be a part of the Super Eagles team to the Mondial. And Kesha has also been told the 40-man list, only these things need to be sorted out as quickly as possible.
I don't understand what he meant by saying he needs to score more goals.
Are we going to do more than score goals?
Going back to what Wisinowuma and Shada Amadu told him that if he likes, he should score in the moon.
But Amadu apologized after that and called the Roman to the team.
No, but for goodness sake, this guy is our best striker in Europe. MNK has 8 goals.
The season is on break in Russia.
Ike Uche he scored his 12th goal last weekend. I mean, what other yardstick do you need to do to merit
apart from form and fitness?
Form and fitness. So he needs to be there. He doesn't even need to talk. You know, we're here watching. Keshi must invite him. Let him come in within the 40-man list. Then allow the player to decide on the field of play whether he merits a chance or not.
But there's no hidden secret why Keshi
talked about attitude.
As he's talking about attitude. And you know that just a drop of oil can muddy an entire bucket of water.
Attitude? Some players are outspoken. Some will keep quiet, but behind they are dangerous. So which one will you prefer?
I prefer
the player that tells you the truth. He's smart.
I think I prefer a player like that. But what Keshi said is he has a disruptive attitude to things, especially when he's not playing. Maybe he feels that he's entitled to more, to a starting position, because he was a key part of our qualification process at the major tournaments. But even at the Nations Cup, when he was put in, he fell blanks. He did it. Even his body language, his work rate, everything was particularly well.
Not what wants in the team.
What he wanted. And when he was put on the bench, his grumblings and
every player will grumble when you are substituted. We have not even heard from Ike Uche. When you say he has disruptive tendencies, in details, what are these disruptive tendencies?
He might be more disruptive than Osaze Odenwenge. Who went out on Twitter, was lampooning everybody and everybody.
Ike has not gone on the social network to lampoon everybody.
But we've talked about coaches managing these players. There will always be some particularly outspoken individuals, some who have combustible egos. The ability, man management is probably the most important part of coaching.
You are not your tailor ability. If you want to be a big coach, then you must learn how to manage the big players.
Why do people always give Jose Mourinho the amount of credit he gets? They say his ability to raise ordinary individuals into superhumans. And that is the kind of character that Stephen Keshi must imbibe if he wants to build a formidable team for the World Cup.
All right, let's go quickly to Twitter and read a few comments before we go on a break and then make a switch. Onia Kelvin at DSP1 Aiswe says Morocco must fall. The Eagles should take it as a cup final, no complacency. That's what it says, and that's the attitude that we want the Eagles to adopt. Take this game as a cup final. And Olufemi Bolonunde, I mean, talking to Tunde, says the ban is suggested is not because of your opinion. You were emphatic about the result. That's why he felt you should go on a ban. But he says it's good to see you. So Femi is back. We didn't ban him.
Thank you.
He had some other engagement yesterday. That was why he couldn't show up. Bason Yakabiru says, I can't wait for Saturday's kickoff of the Nigerian National League. We told you on the show yesterday. On Friday, Dumnadio Konta will be giving us a very comprehensive preview of the Nigerian National League starting on Saturday. So watch this space and try to catch up with Dumnadio on Friday. We'll give you a preview of the NNL League starting on Saturday. Okay. What do? We'll go on a quick break now. When we return from the break, Tunde will go take a rest. Yemi Adebayo will join me. We'll talk the CHAN. We'll talk the Globe Premier League. We'll talk everything we need to talk about around the Eagles, around the league, around grassroots football in Nigeria, and then of course Australia Open is also up. We'll talk about that as well on Sport.